Alright, welcome back. So today we are going to talk about Faber residences. Taufik, you know where is this not?
Yes, not to be confused, this is not at Mount Faber. This is a Faber area which is at Clementi, and that is close to Park Clementis.
For those people who are not familiar with where is this project site, it's been a while since there is a project launch over here. The last one was Waterfront at Faber, which is I think almost 10, 12 years ago. This area has been populated with a lot of landed properties, and mostly the buildings over here are low rise. So when this plot of land came out, right, it caught me by surprise because I thought that the government would want to reserve this piece of land more for like green spaces or more for like recreational use. So when this plot of land was eventually being sold as a housing, I'm quite curious who bought it and what is the price point that eventually they're going to be selling at. So developer will be by Coco Land and Hong Leong. So for those people who are familiar with Springleaf, they have recently they have done very well. I think it was like 90% sold right on day one. Price is also very fantastic. So we're not sure whether they will repeat this kind of success over here as well.
So just a bit more zoomed in into the location, this area has a lot of landed properties. So one of the houses there that we have just marketed a year ago. And aside from that, some of the other projects that we have here, like Waterfront at Faber and also Faber Crest. And it's also just a few minutes away from Clementi Mall, so if you're driving, that will be a very quick access for you to get to your shopping and dining options around there. And if you're thinking about schools for parents, it is within 1 km of Nanhua.
So within 1 km of Nanhua, definitely this is a strong selling point for parents who are aiming for their kids to be enrolled in this school. Well, just a very quick project run through. This site, right, is sitting on a very huge piece of land, 277 square feet of land. Imagine that is a very big piece, and total 399 units, and estimated TOP will be around Q1 of 2028. So total there will be 9 blocks, and each only standing at 5-story high. So for this area, right, the gross plot ratio is pretty low, which means to say that the traffic in terms of the human density and all that is very much controlled. So it's not going to be a very high density living whereby you see a lot of tall buildings all around you. Mostly this area is going to be low-rise buildings. And the quick run through in terms of the architect will be by P&T Consultants, which is quite popular, and the main con will be by China Construction, right? And for those people who are familiar in this area, you will know that this is more of a family-based kind of demographic. So in terms of the unit mix, right, they're starting from the smallest will be a 2-bed 2-bath. So there isn't any 1-bedroom or 2-bed 1-bath over here. All the way to the bigger size will be a 5-bedroom at 1,485 square feet.
Zooming into the site plan itself, what you have here is something that the developer has reimagined, something that is seamless from across all the 18 different courtyards in the development. So from one facility to the other, you get to enjoy and have that experience of a full condo facilities. And some of the examples of the facilities that we have here are the 50-meter lap pool, the jacuzzi. So you can see that it's a relaxing kind of lifestyle. At the same time, you have your gym, your steam room, and the multi-purpose court. So that gives you the more active side of living in this Faber residence.
Where this site is located, right, is also along this park connector called the Ulu Pandan Park Connector, which one of my clients actually stay around here. They actually jog pretty often around this park connector southwards towards Pandan Reservoir. You can actually make a loop, and I think you are done for the day already. It's really a very long distance to cover. But of course, if you find that there is not sufficient, you can always go eastward. That will bring you all the way towards Buona Vista MRT, that side as well. So in terms of a healthy lifestyle, in terms of greenery, in terms of a lifestyle that you want to have a lot of exercise and open ground, this park connector will be something that is very helpful for you and your family. So for those people who are familiar with what Coco Land and Hong Leong has bring about with the recent projects, you do know that they are very well done in terms of the efficient space planning for their layout and the floor plan. So starting at the 2-bedder, right, is 646 square feet. Once again, non-harmonized, meaning to say that your AC latch is not counted in this 646 square feet. And over here, they're using the ACPS, the Advanced Construction PPVS, meaning to say that the internal wall, right, is actually hackable. And if you look at this layout, right, it's a dumbbell layout. We are pretty familiar with it. There's very little wasted space as you step inside from your main door. You got an L-shaped kitchen on the side, and moving upwards, you have your living and dining space, which is very squarish and well spaced out. Overall, both bedrooms are pretty well sized. confirm you can put in a queen bed, no problem. And the common bathroom has dual access, one by the swing door, one by the sliding door. Now next up will be the 3-bedroom basic at 797 square feet. This one, right, when you step inside your main door, you can see that they still be able to fit in a semi-tuck away kitchen. This at least not the galley kitchen where it's along the wall. So the only thing that maybe I want to point out is that there's no pocket window for natural ventilation. Right, moving on, you get a very good, same thing, living and dining space, pretty well defined. And on one side, you can see that on the bedroom 3, it has direct access to the bathroom as well, which can double up as a junior master. On the other end, you have the other 2 bedrooms, which you can see that the master room, fitting in the king bed, no problem at all. And the other bedroom 2, queen bed, no problem. Overall squarish layout, pretty functional, very good and ideal for a starter family. The other layout of the 3-bedroom will be the 3-bedroom standard 861 square feet. Same thing, when you step inside, you have a kitchen on this side. Once again, I noticed that there isn't any pocket window for natural ventilation. In the middle of the house, you have this flexi space, which can be ideal for, if you want to use it as a storeroom, you can use it, cover up in both sides of the wall. If not, you can use it as a workstation. That's why they named this space as a flexi space. The other part of the areas, pretty similar from the previous floor plan that we are looking at. And of course, you do have a bigger balcony as well as a bigger living and dining space overall. The next layout we're going to cover is the 1033 3-bedroom plus, right? When you step in, you have a very longish kind of a living and dining space. Over at this layout, you have a proper enclosable kitchen area. And over here, there's a pocket window for natural ventilation, a household shelter if you have a live-in maid, and also a small toilet at the beginning of the main entrance. It feels a little bit weird because usually for this small toilet, it is positioned beside the household shelter. But it is what it is. It can be used as some kind of a maintenance WC where you can use it for day-to-day household chores and everything. The remaining side of the bedrooms, pretty similar with what we are seeing just now. And there is also a flexi space which you can double up as additional clothing for walk-in wardrobe purpose, or you can use it as a study room. And what I like is that for this flexi space, there's also a window for natural ventilation. Over here, the floor plans, because some of them, they have this ground floor PS area whereby there's a side gate access into the ground area. So if you want to find out more details about the different variations of the layout, please feel free to reach out to us. We'll be more than happy to share with you the details over here. Our numbers are just flashed on the screen. And once again, we are so happy to see some of you in person, and do reach out to us earlier so that we can plan for you in terms of your preparation work before the launch day is happening.
Right, so moving on will be the 4-bedroom basic coming at you at 1119 square feet. So this is more of a conventional layout 4-bedroom unit. We have a wet kitchen area here. You can see that the size is pretty big with a powder room just beside the entrance. And you also get a household shelter here, so that can be used as your storage. And the bedrooms goes from your 4-3 and then your master bedroom. The master bedroom, one thing that I would like to point out is that the wardrobe space might not be enough for a couple, so you might want to use one of the bedrooms as a walk-in wardrobe if you'd like to. So maybe make some changes to the door space and the wall, and that will help out a bit. Right, so other than that, the master bathroom does have the natural ventilation at the back towards the aircon latch, which is, as we have mentioned, it's not a non-strata area. Right, and the one thing that I like is that the balcony is of a decent size for this unit itself. It's not too big, at the same time it is not too small. So it's something that you can enjoy as a family. Right, so the next layout will be the 4-bedroom standard. Right, so entrance to the left will be a dry kitchen provision, and then towards the wet kitchen, the one thing that we notice here is that there's no natural ventilation. And another thing to point out is that in terms of the hob you have here is induction hob, it's not the gas hob. So it makes sense that they give this because there's no natural ventilation. Right, so towards the right of the house, you get your bedroom 3, and the bathroom 3 is also there. It's not connected as a Jack and Jill concept, so it's just a separate one. And then towards the left side of the house is where you get your master bedroom, this time with a walk-in wardrobe and master bath, so you get more wardrobe space for yourself as a family. And then bedroom 2 and bedroom 4. So bedroom 4 is connected to the balcony. You have access to the balcony through the living room as well as bedroom 4. And as you can see, the wall for bedroom 4 is of a different color, so you can choose to open that up and have an even bigger living and dining space to enjoy as a family. And the household shelter is in the middle of the house, so it's easy to access whenever you want to put your storage place there, or for some people might even use it as a helper's room. However, good news, for the 4-bedroom standard, there are units which are at the corner side of the stack, and for these units, you do have ventilation at your wet kitchen, and good news, the hob is gas hob, it's not just induction hob, so you can showcase your culinary skills to your guests, your families and your friends as well. Alright, so for this layout, you have, aside from the wet kitchen, there's a dry kitchen provision, again same thing, and the household shelter in the middle. And towards the right side of the house, you have your bedroom 4, 3 and the master bedroom, again with the walk-in wardrobe and the master bath with natural ventilation. So for this, the balcony size, again, is huge, really enjoyable for those who likes the outdoor. You can even do al fresco dining for your family. Okay, so the next layout we're looking at is a 5-bedroom standard. This is 1485 square feet. For those of you who are a bigger family or who enjoys the bigger space, this one will be something that you want to look at. Right, so the entrance on the right side, you have your, it's called the bath hall, but we look at it as a powder room. And then towards the front, you have the household shelter, followed by your junior master and junior bath. All right, so looking at the kitchen, we have a wet kitchen here, but the thing that we notice is that there's no dry kitchen. But with so much space in this layout itself, we believe that you can actually come up with an area where you can provide and use it as your dry kitchen. So no issues there at all, because you have all the space that you want in this 1485 square feet. Right, and then the bedrooms, yes, again, we have your 5, 4 and then a master bedroom with the walk-in wardrobe concept side by side, so it separates out the his and hers, although the his probably is only half. All right, and then you have your master bedroom with your natural ventilation, and your wet kitchen also have the natural ventilation towards the yard where your washer dryer will be at. And of course, the balcony will be the landscape concept where you can enjoy the view that you get from your living room and bedroom 5.
To further add on, most of the time we will describe to people how we usually know that the developer is placing the premium facing at which kind of stack is looking at the biggest layout. So placing the 5-bedroom facing the Ulu Pandan Park connector, there's a bit of a river or Langkawi view, whichever you want to call it, I think it's a river. Then there's also some park connector by the side. On the flip side, is facing towards the inner, which is the 50-meter lap pool, the pool area. So you're capturing either the external view or the 50-meter lap pool. This is where you will want to probably focus to choose in terms of the premium stack if you're buying for your own stay. So right now, talking about price, right, we are just wondering how much Coco Land and Hong Leong is going to price this project at. Because when we look at the land bid price, right, for Springleaf, they secure it at 905 per square foot per plot ratio back then. And on the average, right, they were selling at about 2,176 on the average. Towards the highest, they sold it at 2,004. Towards the lowest is 2,004. So if you're looking at how much this piece of land was secured by them, it was just $5 of a difference, right? They submitted the highest bid back then for this Faber Walk site at 900 per square foot per plot ratio. However, on the ground, we are receiving news is that likely they will price this site, right, slightly higher compared to Springleaf. I mean, of course, if you look at it this way, Springleaf is still a very underdeveloped area which you don't have much amenities, aside that you have to take one MRT stop down to Lentor, right? Whereas for this Clementi area, Faber area, you're surrounded by a lot of transformation that's already taking place. On your western part of it, right, there's 2 more MRT that's coming up, which is, I think, the Pandan Reservoir MRT station, the Jurong Town Hall MRT station, which is part of this Cross Island line that's coming up in the phase 2. And then on the far west, you have Jurong CBD coming up, Jurong Innovation District coming up, and there's really a lot of business activity, a lot of excitement that's going on over here. And not forgetting that this area is very well known for the school community, lots of tertiary education, lots of primary school. A lot of people want to come into Clementi because they want to set their family here for a very long period of time. Like, for example, from 3-year-old to maybe 23-year-old, they can probably stay here until the kid finally got their own home. And today, right, if you look at surrounding vicinity of Faber Walk East, right, you can see that places like Jayden has already reached 2,800 per square feet on the highest point, average already 2,004, and even the recent one, Alta, happening at Clementi site just beside Claiborne, they have already sold at 2,800 plus per square foot per plot ratio. So this is actually a good opportunity if you're looking for something that is more affordable, something that is more entry level for you to buy in, and yet you want to stay within or near to this location. Even some of the resale properties that has already recently TOP, for example, Park Clementi's, the highest has already transacted at 2,618 per square foot on the average 2,071 per square foot. So if you look at it this way, right, this Faber Residences is not those typical huge development, tall buildings. This is something of a low-rise, quieter site. And for those people who enjoy this kind of living, right, Faber residences could be one of the options that you would want your family to stay in.
Some of the objections that we're getting on the ground and some of our clients who reach out to us is that this location is a little further from the MRT station. So what can you say about that?
Okay, so for those people who are not familiar over here, people across the highway, right, you have projects like Vista Grand, Park Rivera and Twinview. Over there, I think they're relying on some kind of shuttle bus service over there. But if you're not using the shuttle bus, right, along the highway, there is multiple buses available over there, which links you to Jurong East MRT station and Clementi MRT station. So this is one way that you can commute, whereby just have a few minutes walk down towards the highway that is just along AYE, and it brings you to the important parts of where you want to go. Of course, if you think of it this way, right, if you want to stay in the low density living kind of condo, there's only 399 units over here, which means that the number of families over here is not going to be that many, and it's low rise, meaning to say that you don't have very tall tower buildings that's right overlooking over you. So you do get a very good sense of open sky space, open ground, and park connector is just by the side. So I feel that this is something of a different product category for a different demographic of people who likes to stay in this kind of lower density living. Of course, we have not received any official price guide from the developer. However, if we use 2,200 per square foot times the smallest 797 square foot 3-bedroom, right, it just works out to be about 1.75 to 1.8 million. I think this kind of price tag is very, very attractive for people who want to stay within 1 kilometer of Nanhua. If you look at across the road, right, places like Vista Grand, Park Clementi, their 3-bedroom easily is already more than 2 million. So I find that this is actually a very rare opportunity for you to buy into a very entry-level, affordable price tag, and yet enjoying the benefits of staying inside Clementi area.
Right, so if you are someone who is looking to have the high floor view of from your house, this is definitely not for you. If you are someone who wants to stay right beside the MRT, again, this might not be something that you're looking at. Or even if you are someone who enjoys being close to amenities like shopping center, this might not be the case for you. But however, if you are someone who enjoys living in a low density area, or perhaps you are someone who might be staying in the Faber landed estate, you might find us familiar because you have seen us around. This might be something that you want to add on to your portfolio of houses, or even buy for your kids or your grandchildren if you want to. So we have come to the end of the video. Thank you for staying with us all the way to the end. Do subscribe, comment, and like our video. We'll see you in the next one.